Last week we have seen that the markets have seen a huge tumbling post budget, and it seems that last week with the V-shape recovering, though the coronavirus has been forgotten, or we have forgotten the budget, which was slightly disappointing for the traders and investors. With the budget day fall on the Saturday, we have seen markets retesting 12,650 levels. Monday, though opening after a strong selling pressure, Monday opened on a flat note, and we have seen a water comeback by markets. Though it be leading by the global markets or the unforgotten budget or the coronavirus, unforgotten coronavirus with the drugs being remedies being coming up for coronavirus. But yes, if you look at the Dow Jones, we have seen all-time high of around new all-time high of around 29,400 in the last week. Though we have seen a strong comeback on the short covering rally by the major sectors, or even if you look at the Bank Nifty, which has seen 4.5% gain on the back of short covering rally, surpassing the highs of weekly highs of the budget week, and coming back on the stronger note from right from around 12,000 29,700 way back to about 31,000, and closing about 31,000 is most important psychological level also. On the Nifty side, we have seen 200 being tested. Even Bank Nifty also tested 200 as average. And again, right from if you look at the historical move from right 2018 for one and a half year, every time we test 200 as average on the Nifty and Bank Nifty, we have seen a huge comeback coming on from the markets. And similar V-shaped recovery we have seen last week with Nifty gaining around more than 3.5%, Bank Nifty gaining more than 4.5%. And yes, still bulls are roaring aggressively on the Nifty and Bank Nifty. If I just look at the sector wise, yes, metals leading the way back again after a sharp fall in the previous week on the back of coronavirus. Demand's been slightly on the negative side for metals, but huge comeback by Jindal Steel, JSW Steel, even if you look at the Tata Steel. These three stocks has seen a good comeback on the markets. Still Hindalco lacking, VDL lacking on the downside, though it means large cap. But yes, this Jindal Steel, JSW and Tata Steel has seen a huge comeback, and metals being nearly 9% up after the negative week, previous negative week on the budget week. Second stock out of Nifty 50 was led by BPCL, which was nearly 10% up, and energy gaining more nearly 5%, followed by, if you look at the financial service, was up nearly 5%. One sector which stood out on the budget week was IT space. We have discussed in the previous video also. And yes, this week also continued to rally. It was about nearly 1%, though on the last outperforming sector in the positive territory with 1% and other gaining more than 1. But still, all the sector managed to trade in a green territory. FIDI data, FII were net nearly seller of around 1,000 crores, but what's a comeback by DII, around 2,200 crores worth of buying last week, largely in large cap and mid cap. And yes, mid caps is on a roll. If I just look at and compare with the Nifty, mid caps are like anything in this week, and yes, we expect this to continue in the further week also. Mid cap might continue to rally on the higher side ahead of large caps. And yes, I would again reiterate that look at the mid caps which are trading at 52-week high rather than the stocks which are trading at around 52-week lows, because in this market the stocks which are trending higher, any meaningful, or I would say a couple of percent of correction, these 52 weeks might drag aggressively on the downside, but 52 weeks height might give you a retracement and then continue its upside rally. So stay on to the stocks which are continuously outperforming in this market at nearly all-time high. And yes, we are expecting this momentum to continue. Even if you look at the Russell 4000, Russell 2000 indices, they are also trending very much on the positive side, and we are expecting mid cap and small bank in Indian markets to continue on the positive side. One thing one should look at in the coming week is the event of two assembly results, Delhi assembly results, which will be announced on Tuesday, and the CPI and WPI data. Though assembly election results might not impact much, but yes, the psychological might play out in the coming week ahead on the Delhi results. WPI and CPI data would be important to watch. And another reason why we have seen a huge comeback by Indian equities is the crude oil. We have seen WTI crude way backing test to around $50 mark after on from the higher levels, and this will really boost our economy on the positive side. And if I just look at the dollar impact, we haven't seen much, and it's been toggling between 70 and 72 for quite some time, and we expect this toggling to prolong for quite some time. And this week we might see a range bound trading happening between 71 and 72. And if you are an currency trader trading in the options market, you can look for an short straddle or short strangle strategies this week on the USD INR. What to look for the Nifty this week or the coming week? We are expecting Nifty again to see a good upside momentum for a couple of reasons. First, we have seen a huge V-shape recovering, and a major of the short covering rally has been seen. This week, if momentum continues on the positive side, we might see a huge long build-ups coming up on the markets. If I just look at the future OI data for the Nifty, it's still slightly on a flat side between 145 and 150 lakhs of OI on the future side. Still, there is no indication of the huge long build-up coming up in. But if I just look at the options data, we have seen huge short covering, huge shorting been witnessed in 11,800, 11,900, and even 12,000 puts. So these aggressive writing on the puts indicates that we are yet to make a good bottoming formation in this week. 11,950, 11,990 stands out to be a very, very strong support zone. Why? Because if I just look at the rally right from around 11,600 way back to around 12,100 and about 12,100. 38.2 retracement generally has Nifty tendency to retrace around 38.2% and again see an up move. This retracement ends out to be at 11,955. Plus, if I just look at the 12,000 key psychological levels plus derivative structures, 12,000 indicate a good support zone for me. So any meaningful move toward 11,950, 12,000 ends out to be a good bargain buying level on the Nifty, keeping a strict stop loss of 11,880 on the downside. If this momentum continues on the positive side with global markets hitting all-time new highs, we expect this rally toward 12,240, 12,250 on the upside. Yes, Bank Nifty ends out to be very, very good support zone at current point of time, and any meaningful dip toward 30,800, 30,900 on the spot, which is again 38.2% retracements comes around 30,800, and that might again be a good bargain buying level for me, and I'm expecting back to around 31,500 in the current week, though 30,500 stands out to be a very, very strong support zone as of now. Only high risk I am expecting in this market is if I just look at the seasonality analysis of Nifty for last 10 years, which means every Feb month, if I just look at the performance of the Nifty, out of 10, only 2 has been on the positive side. I guess 2010 and 2012 were the positive side for the Nifty on the Feb series. I'm taking a Feb month from right from 1st to 28th or 29th of Feb, which is the ending of the month. Rest 8 months were on the negative side. So that is the only risk I'm expecting on the market as of now. In case that plays out, we might see again a negative momentum. But yes, as of now, momentum stands out to be on the bull's court, and any dip toward 11,950, 12,000 stands out to be a good support zone, and one can look for a bargain buying around those levels. If the result seasons, we have witnessed good results has been announced so far, and result season has been good for the investors and traders. The Nifty 50, there are a couple of companies which will be resulting these results out of Nifty 50 are the GAIL, Coal India, Hindalco, ONGC, and BPCL. These are the company one should keep a watch this week. They are being about to announce their quarterly results, so volatility might increase. BPCL, we have seen a good comeback of around 11% last week, and we are expecting this momentum towards continue toward the 512, 515 the momentum.